Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Scott Nations, President of Nations Indexes. We're going to take a look at trends in VOLQ, and if there are some attractive valuations with stocks in the Nasdaq-100 that have been severely beaten down. Scott, it is great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks, and it really has been not only for the Nasdaq-100, but overall a pretty impressive ride in the markets here.
Yeah, unfortunately impressive in the wrong direction. But you're absolutely right, Jill. I mean, we now believe generally that the Fed waited too long. They kept rates too low for too long. And there's a price to pay for that. And unfortunately, the Nasdaq-100 is one of the indexes that's paying that price right now.
When you take a look at trends in VOLQ, the Nasdaq-100 Volatility Index, is there anything that perhaps shows that there might be some end in sight, or that this, the back and forth might be around for a while?
No, I think that the VOLQ is showing that the back and forth is going to be around for a while. And that's to be expected. We know that when markets get volatile, they stay volatile. There's a 15-syllable word for that that I won't share. But that is the way the markets work. They get volatile and they're going to stay volatile for a while. And until we get a little bit more understanding of precisely what the Fed's going to do between now and the end of the year and just how aggressive they're going to be, then we're going to have to continue to be volatile, and investors are going to have to continue to be really careful. Now, you mentioned VOLQ. VOLQ measures implied volatility in the Nasdaq-100 index. That is what options are saying about how volatile the market's actually going to be over the next 30 days. VOLQ futures trade at the CME. VOLQ, all implied volatility, tends to be counter-cyclical to the index. That is, they move in the opposite direction from each other. So a lot of people will be using VOLQ futures to try and hedge any further downside in the Nasdaq-100.
And Scott, there are a number of names that valuation certainly had to come down in a number of the names in Nasdaq-100 to really be in line with what they're actually worth. I mean, profitability and earnings really do count in markets like this. Are there any deals out there that might be attractive at these levels? There's a number of good companies with lots of cash on the balance sheet that are trading at a massive discount compared to last year.
That's right. And I looked at all of the names in the Nasdaq-100, and there are 6 names that are at least 70% below their recent 52-week high. So really quickly, DocuSign, Lucid, Moderna, Netflix, PayPal, and Zoom. And some of those are great brands with great businesses. An example would be Netflix, which had a really tough time because they lost subscribers and they seem to have hit a wall as to what people are willing to pay. But Netflix is a great business with a huge roster of subscribers and a whole bunch of content. And so if people wanted to start picking up some Netflix at a huge discount, 73% discount to where it was at its 52-week high, that would make a lot of sense to me. Same with DocuSign, which is a leader in its space. PayPal is another name that is interesting. The big business has a lot of trouble, but they also own Venmo, which is a leader in its space. Some of the other names maybe are going to have a whole lot more trouble. They're going to have to explain what their business is. Zoom is going to have to compete with a whole bunch of other people. It was a wonder during the first parts of the pandemic, but Zoom was down 78%. Worst performer from its 52-week high in the Nasdaq-100. It's going to have to explain how it's going to make money going forward. And the same with Lucid Group. Those are the 2 I would definitely stay away from. But those other 4 are kind of interesting to me.
All right, Scott, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.